You don't need an agency to get press. However, you do need to know the right tools. Let's talk about it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here and you don't know who the hell I am, I'm AK Brown, the Fashion Connector, and I am simply here to make fashion make sense. And in today's video, we are talking about the tools that you need in order to do your own PR, or what I like to call DIY PR. And these are also tools that my fellow publicists, journalists, and editors can also use to find reliable, creditable resources. And I want to emphasize the fact of all of these tools I'm going to discuss are tools that I currently use to do my own PR, or that I use for my clients, or even in my 9-to-5 as a publicist. Also, I'm going to do a more robust list on the website, so just make sure to save akbrownstl.com in your favorites and your bookmark, because that's where I'm really going to start tapping back into all of the how-to content that I used to do. And the resource hub is back up, and so all of the PR tools I'm actually talking about are over there, so you can check them out and bookmark it so you can have an easy place to reference them if you need them. So the first tool is easily my holy grail. I want to say it was like the first platform that I actually got on when I was intentionally trying to get press and media mentions for myself. Qwoted. If I'm remembering right, I think my good sister Lindsay, who sometimes actually acts like my publicist, she told me to get on Qwoted, and then I've just been on Qwoted ever since and kind of took it and ran with it. So Qwoted, I just feel like is a all-in-one media platform hub. Initially, I used it as an expert, or what they call a source. I got on there, I created my own platform, and I would pitch myself to outlets that were wanting experts to give their opinions, to be interviewed, to give their commentary. The outlets that I've actually been featured on through Qwoted and through those pitching opportunities: Teen Vogue, InStyle. That's actually how I now have a working relationship with Today.com, and I've helped with Met Gala and red carpet coverage for award shows over the past 2 years. A lot of the press that is not St. Louis based came from opportunities from Qwoted. And the great part about it is you don't need a publicist to represent you in order for you to pitch yourself for these opportunities. You can actually set up your own profile as an expert or as a source. You can see the opportunities in real time, and you can actually go and pitch them on your own. Now, on the flip side, I actually use Qwoted on my other platform as an editor and as a publicist. So as an editor or journalist, you can actually put out your own requests, so you can try to find experts or sources for interviews, for commentary, even for product roundups. As a publicist, you're able to represent yourself if you're a source. So that's kind of actually how I do it now. I represent myself as a source, also as my own publicist, but you can also build out expert profiles for any of your clients. So some of my clients that I have, like St. Louis Fashion Week, they now have an expert profile on Qwoted. And so anytime that I may see an opportunity that I think would be good for them, I can actually pitch on their behalf, and they don't have to do it for themselves. Also, as a publicist, you're able to distribute press releases for free. Now, I can't think off the top of my head how many you have like per month for free, and it may not even be a limit. But for my 9-to-5, actually, as a publicist, I use Qwoted to distribute press releases, which is really, really good, because I don't know if y'all understand how much distributing press releases can cost. Depending on the platform, it can be as low as $49 or as high as like $500, just depending on the engine that you use. So for them to be able to allow you to distribute press releases for free is absolutely game changing. Now, I know you guys are going to be asking about price, and I'm going to break all of this down a little bit more in depth in the blog post, but at baseline, you can actually sign up for Qwoted for free as any of the three: an expert, a journalist or editor, or as a publicist. Now, if you want to take it a step further and sign up for, I believe, the base price model, that's $149 a month. But I'm going to tell you, just under the free account, that's how I've been able to get any of those outlets that I've been featured in for free. So the free model is going to do what it needs to do for you. I promise you that. Now, the second tool that I use as a publicist is Notion. I got hip to Notion through my creative director, Safa. And once I really got over like the learning curve of Notion, I took off. It's been up and stuck from there. I specifically use Notion as a publicist to build out my media list and my media tracker. And you could also probably tweak some of what we're going to talk about real quick to serve the purposes you need as a journalist or an editor. Now, I'm actually reading off how I have my media tracker structured that I actually use for work. But what I'm in the process of building out, which should be ready by the next video, is I'm building a media tracker template that you should just be able to download, plug in, and play on Notion for the fashion girlies and guys, my fellow publicists, journalists, and editors. So that is coming very, very soon. So currently, how I have this specific media tracker structured, we have the name, we also have the platform or the outlet, and what you should be just conscious of is there may be multiple outlets that you list here. Why? Because if they're a freelance journalist, they may be writing for multiple outlets at the same time, and you want to be conscious of that because you may be able to pitch them and have a better chance of it getting placed somewhere. Side note, these pillows are like pissing me off, but they just gonna be what it is, so just ignore them. We're getting a new couch soon, so this is gonna be different. Okay, back on track. Obviously, you want to be able to find email, and we're going to talk about how to find information for journalists the long way, the old school way, especially for those that may not have the budget to buy into some of these platforms that can give you the information. You'll still be able to find it. I'm just going to teach y'all how to do it the old school way. Also, main beat and sub beat. So main beat is like the overall niche, and then the sub beat are the sub niches within the niche. So for me as AK, the main niche or the main beat would be fashion. The sub beat or the sub niche could be anything like disparities in education, styling, Black POV, advocacy in fashion, media equity. So again, fashion is my main beat. Those other topics that I cover are my sub beats. You also have the pitch date, which is very important, and your follow-up date. And we'll talk about in another video like the best practices of your timing of following up, because some of y'all be following up too much and y'all be pissing off these journalists, like seriously. Also pitch status, so that can be anything from like researching, the pitch is ready, you've already sent out the pitch, you followed up, if they're interested, if they've confirmed some type of placement, if it's published or if it's live, if they rejected it, or if they just basically did not answer, which is going to happen. That way you could just keep track of where everything currently is. And then notes, and then any associated media that you want to keep track of. So like headshots, press releases, anything else. Now the third tool that I love and that I use for myself and I also use in my 9-to-5 is Featured. Feature is similar to Qwoted in the regard of as an expert or as a source, you can go on there and answer questions that journalists and editors pose in the hopes of getting featured or your answers being used in the article or the publication. And on the flip side, as a journalist or an editor, you can pose questions for experts simply like, hey, I'm looking for this type of expert, this type of commentary, give a deadline, and then sift through the answers that you get and use whatever ones you find appropriate. For Featured, I use the free account. So everything that I've done on Featured has been for the free 99. However, they do have paid options, but the paid options are very affordable, like $19 a month, $49 a month. So if you do have the budget, I would say try it out for a month and see if it does what it needs to do for you. But in the same regard, the free option will do what it needs to do for you as well. The next tool I use is Google Alerts, and I use that to track keywords and trends within the main beats and the sub beats or the niches that I am pitching within. Essentially, so I can see what the journalists are actually getting approved to write about and to publish. That's gonna help me tailor my press releases, my pitches, my bylines, my contributed articles, and I feel like it just essentially increases your chances of placement. Obviously, if you're aligning your content with what journalists are writing about, it shows that you're paying attention to the market and you're not just blindly pitching to some of these journalists hoping to get a feature. I feel like helps in the goal of building rapport, again, to increase the chances of a live feature or article. Now, this last tool I know is going to prop a bigger conversation, and that's going to be AI used in media. Really, should you or should you not? And I do have that content actually coming down the pipeline. Specifically, and in regard to this video, have I used ChatGPT as a tool? Yes, I use it more so just as a jumping off point to help brainstorm brainstorm ideas when I am stuck. I am also consciously trying to slowly but surely not use it as much. I only want y'all using it as like a brainstorm tool. I do not want y'all using it as the thing that produces the full press release, the full pitch deck, the full pitch email, because in order for it to really sound like you gotta do too much. In my opinion, you have to do too much in order for it to not sound like AI, for it to have the cadence of AI, for it to have the structure of AI, even things that really are actually true English, grammatically correct. Because of now where we are, it just comes off like AI. The M dashes, we know that M dashes are grammatically correct, but because of now where we are with AI, I actually hate using M dashes. I don't want to see an M dash because I don't want it to come off like AI generated the entire damn thing. You get what I'm saying? Do not use it to produce the full press release. I'm actually going to show y'all in a future video how to structure a press release, structure a whole pitch email. I just want us to be a little bit more ethical when it comes to AI. And I know that's actually very loaded because using AI overall ain't ethical at all. It's not sustainable at all. So I know I'm sounding very contradictory. So the effort is to reduce the use of it as much as you can. And instead of allowing it and relying on it to do everything for you, let's maybe only use it to brainstorm, and then maybe from there reduce it as much as possible, even within the brainstorming process. So y'all, those are the tools that I do use as a publicist to help pitch, to help get the word out, to land those placements. And I'm hoping that this is a good starting off point for those that are trying to get their own press and media mentions, for my emerging or baby publicists, even for my fellow journalists and editors, in order for us just to really figure out this space of PR a little bit better. So let me know what questions y'all have in the comments. We have so much content coming out the pipeline, but make sure to save and bookmark the blog post. Use it as y'all's holy grail. And until next time, I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.